Interview surviving members of a backwoods death cult. Obviously. What part of Beach Read screams death cult? Was the beach near Johnstown?
For heaven's sake, context. It's research for the character's book, not a vacation package add-on. Though, admittedly, the juxtaposition is jarring.
Jarring. It's like ordering a vanilla latte and getting a cup full of spiders. This book, Beach Read by Emily Henry, is false advertising. It promises sunshine and delivers, well, what existential dread and possibly unwashed male protagonists.
Oh, here we go. It's a nuanced exploration of grief and artistic rivalry wrapped in
lies. Like you claiming Moby Dick wasn't about ancient astronauts. The evidence was clear. Ishmael was clearly an unreliable narrator, planted by the Greys.
We are discussing Beach Read, a contemporary romance, arguably, about January Andrews, a romance writer, having a crisis after her dad dies and she finds out he was cheating.
While her mom had cancer. See, spiders, not vanilla. January sounds like a total downer. Probably cries into her artisanal kombucha. One reviewer said she cried one too many times. I agree, get a grip, lady. My neighbor Brenda cried less when her husband ran off with the pool boy, and he took the good patio furniture.
She's grieving a profound betrayal. It's complex. She discovers her entire family narrative was built on a lie. It's meant to be relatable human messiness, not Brenda's patio set drama.
Relatable. Is it relatable to immediately hate the mistress, calling her that woman? Sounds kind of judgy. Very, not like other girls, if you ask me.
Okay, I concede that her initial reaction lacked nuance, but the real piece of work is Augustus, Gus, Everett the brooding, literary fiction, writer next door.
Gus, mister, I write books where everyone dies and probably smell like old socks in despair, one reviewer said, and I quote, Emily didn't really convince me he showers. I believe it. He probably leans on walls looking tortured because his knees are weak from malnutrition and poor hygiene.
He represents the supposed serious side of fiction grappling with his own dark past and abusive father, hence the grim worldview. He's emotionally constipated. Yes, but there's depth there. He's not just unhygienic.
Depth. He sounds like a walking red flag who thinks showering is a capitalist conspiracy. And that line, when I watch you sleep, I feel overwhelmed that you exist? Dude, that's not romantic, that's restraining order territory. Call the cops, January, he's probably sniffing your hair.
It's meant to show his intense, previously unexpressed feelings, his vulnerability. You always twist everything.
Vulnerability? Or just peak creepiness? And don't get me started on his attempt at writing romance. He writes a book for their bet, and it doesn't have a happy ending. Sacrilege. That's like making a pizza without cheese. What's the point?
It challenges the conventions of the genre. It asks questions about whether neat resolutions are always realistic or necessary.
People read romance for the happy ending. It's the deal. You want misery, read the news. Or apparently Gus's entire back catalog. Or this book, frankly. Where's the beach? Where's the fun? Where's Fabio? One reviewer went ballistic. Oh. Fabio. I will not stop screaming. Because Henry name drops literary authors but not enough romance icons. I get it. Respect the genre.
That reviewer's fixation on Fabio was excessive. The book does engage with the romance genre, albeit critically. It's metatextual. It explores the perceived divide between women's fiction and serious literature. As another reviewer put it, if you swapped out all my Jessicas for Johns, do you know what you'd get? Fiction. Just fiction. It highlights a real bias.
Smias. I just want to know if the book is any good, or just 300 pages of moping interrupted by weird field trips and apparently bookshelf nookie. Someone mentioned sex against a bookshelf. Hope it was sturdy and alphabetized.
The intimacy is part of their emotional journey, and the writing itself is often witty, the banter sharp, when they aren't dissecting their respective traumas. We actually got an email, well, a pretend email, since we can't take calls, from Debbie in Duluth. She writes, that death cult scene. My husband once took me to a taxidermy convention for our anniversary. Honestly, the cult sounds less creepy. At least they were alive!
Taxidermy, that's the kind of weird date story we need. Debbie gets it. This book tries too hard to be deep. It's called Beach Read. I wanted Sun, maybe a poorly written pirate, not this.
But the emotional resonance, people loved the dad's letters, they cried. They connected with January's messy healing and Gus's, Ness. Another fake email, this one from Chad in Chattanooga. Forget the plot. Is Gus canonically smelly? My book club is divided. Need Heartbook Radio to settle this.
Chad, my man, the answer is yes. Definitely yes. Maybe the darkness works. Maybe the fact it's not just fluff is interesting. Like finding a worm in your apple. You're disgusted, but you kind of want to know how it got there. Am I making sense?
Honestly, rarely, but you've stumbled upon the central debate. Is it a rom-com gone terribly wrong, or perfectly right? If Gus were a sandwich, what would he be?
Ooh, a pastrami on rye left in a gym bag for 3 days. Looks substantial, probably tastes okay if you're desperate, but the smell, questionable.
Right, okay, wrap-up time. Final verdict. Use the official Heartbook radio scale.
Okay. Beach reading, it lied to me, it made me question fictional hygiene, and it mentioned a death cult. But the bookshelf scene sounds intriguing. I give it 3 out of 5 unexpectedly grim research trips.
It's a surprisingly poignant look at grief, love, and the artificial walls between genres. Despite the misleading title and olfactory obsessions, I give it 6.5 out of 10 existential crises disguised as meet cutes. It's better than you think, but maybe pack tissues instead of sunscreen.
Folks, we're tackling a real literary heavyweight, My Hamster the Communist Spy. Apparently, Mr. Nibbles was passing secrets to the Kremlin via sunflower seeds.
I need a new job.
You've been listening to Heartbook Radio. We're pre-recorded, but our opinions are dangerously live.